A very familiar face has been crowned champs of the winter 2024 season in Rhode Island. I'm here with Wyatt to break it all down on the last post-game show of the season. So we'll break down those finals and how Lob City was able to defeat the Halfway Crooks to win their 8th Legacy Leagues title. And then we'll get into the All-Star game. We have our All-Star night coming up on April 2nd. We'll get into the game. I'm going to have Wyatt pick some All-Star MVP people, some winners of the three-point contest, and his dunk contest pick and favorite here on the last post-game show, like I said, of the season. So it's a sad day, Wyatt, but it's also a sad day for the Halfway Crooks. Might as well throw that in there. But Lob City having a blast today after defeating the Halfway Crooks in the finals by 8, 68-60. I'll save some of the quarter by quarter breakdown, but Wyatt, let's start with just what from that stat sheet stands out to you, what from the game, watching it stands out to you, and how Lob City was able to win a close one. It was close throughout, how they were able to win a close one.
I thought the game was close for a while. I think at halftime, Lob City brought a different intensity. I mean, in the beginning, Halfway Crooks, I thought they were matching the intensity, but they kind of lost it in the second half. And that's kind of been a theme throughout the season every time they've played Lob City. But Nuri Mahmood, he stood out to me because he brings the intensity for the team. He has all the energy, and even if he misses a dunk, he'll still bring the energy. He brought it the whole night. I mean, Sekator, the MVP of the game, he dropped 25, and the intensity they bring just it's hard to match, and that's why they came out with the win.
Those two for sure, as we kind of get to some stats here. Sekator with 25, your finals MVP, as you mentioned. Nuri Mahmood, a close second, 16 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals. Made his presence felt for sure, and was definitely in the running there for finals MVP. Colin Burns, only 7 points, 8 rebounds. Kind of like I said in that post-game ceremony, he's been scoring almost, the exact same as Sekator for a lot of the season. He's been doing a lot of the scoring. This game, it's so funny that Colin kind of doesn't necessarily take a lesser role, but is doing what the team needs, right? And that's kind of what he said. It's all about winning. And in this game, his rebounding, his defense was huge, and even just the attention that the Halfway Crooks had to pay attention to him, impacted their defense. Cody Crawford, 12 points himself. So he hit 2 threes, Sekator hit 3 threes, and, Charles Correa led the way with 7 threes. So, it was funny sitting on the bench. Correa kind of had a few off games in the playoffs kind of leading up to this one. So when he started hitting some threes, that was a good sign. And for the Halfway Crooks for sure to kind of get that scoring punch back. Ethan Austin with 20, Devin Devampina 10 and 10, and he had some big plays down low when the Crooks needed a bucket, especially in those first 3 quarters. And we'll kind of get to that fourth quarter because I think that's really where, things flipped like you talked about. But let's kind of go in order here before we get to some all-star stuff and talk more about Lob City. But Lob, jumped out early, was up 6, by as many as 6 in that first quarter a few different times, and then got up by 4 in the second quarter. And the Crooks were actually able to come all the way back and take a 2-point lead in that second quarter with 3 minutes to go. Sekator hit one of his 3 threes with a minute left in the first half to go up by 1, then some free throws. And it was a tied game at halftime. So after all of that, kind of Lob City, throwing the first punch, Halfway Crooks standing back up to kind of carry the analogy, right? And battling back. And all right, we're dead even halfway through. Even just in that first half, let's kind of go Halfway Crooks here before I know we're going to go back to, what Lob City did to close the deal. What were the Halfway Crooks doing in that second quarter, especially to kind of keep even, with Lob City? Never really able to build an advantage, but definitely kept even.
Well, I think first things first. I mean, Correa, he just looked like he wouldn't miss. He was shooting these crazy shots. Like I saw him hit a fadeaway 3 in the left corner, and it was unbelievable. I mean, there's a few of those shots that were just crazy, shots that you shouldn't hit that they were hitting. I mean, Ethan Austin, he was doing a great job as well. I mean, it was just ball movement. I feel like in the first half, you guys weren't settling for as many like bad shots, but like you guys were doing efficient work, like swinging the ball to the open man, but also getting to the paint as well. But in the second half, that kind of went away. It was a lot of forced shots and not as good as ball movement. That's what I saw, and that's why I think that you guys jumped ahead in the second quarter. But after that, it kind of fell apart a little bit.
Yeah, and so let's get to that third quarter. The Crooks were up by as many as 3. So I believe their largest lead of the game was 3, if I was doing my research correctly. And that was about halfway through the third. So even out of halftime, halfway Crooks have a lead, not by a lot. It was 2 quick runouts, 2 quick dunks for Lob City to go up by 1 with 4 minutes to go. So just like that, the lead is gone. Ethan Austin hit one of his threes with about 3 minutes to go to put the Crooks back up by 3. And then Secator with another run out. And that was where Lob City would retake the lead by 1 with about a minute left in the third, and they would not give the lead back up. That was the last moment the halfway Crooks actually had a lead. Lob City finished the third quarter up by 4 on a Cody Crawford 3, and then we're down 6 early in that fourth quarter. The halfway Crooks missed 4 free throws, down 6. So you start doing some math, and obviously a 2-point game, your mentality is different. Both teams are playing different near the halfway point in that fourth quarter. The Crooks, missed 2 of those free throws when they were down by 7, 2 of those free throws when they were down by 6, but still 4 points that are huge, in a close fourth quarter like that. And from that point on, Lob City got it up to 9, got it up to 10, 10 and 11, and really never looked back. So kind of going back to Lob City, I mean, even just some of the stats, and we'll touch on that fourth quarter, an 18-14 fourth quarter. So nothing crazy, but some of those buckets for the Crooks came, in the final minute where it was a 10-point game, a 13-point game. Probably more like an 18-10, an 18-8 fourth quarter when it was actually the game, right? When it wasn't kind of a little bit of garbage time. But 44% from 3, 12 made threes for the Crooks. You would take it. I mean, Lob City goes 7 of 21 from 3. That was kind of recipe number 1, right? If the Crooks can make more threes, all right, check. 26-24 rebounds, so they kept the rebounding game close. 7 to 5 offensive rebounds, so not a lot of offensive rebounding for both teams. You think, all right, that, we talked about that second matchup, right, where it was Lob City crushing the offensive glass and allowing them to get up by 20. All right, so check. We're kind of checking stuff off here. Fouls, sure, 15-9, so some more fouls, but nobody really in foul trouble. So again, we talked about that, right? If Lob City gets the Crooks in foul trouble, that's not a good recipe. All right, check. So, I mean, the ball not moving as much, sure. Like, what else in that fourth quarter? Because we're kind of going down the list, right? 3-pointers, rebounding, offensive rebounds. Nobody was in foul trouble kind of either way. All right. Not that favors the halfway Crooks, but that is the recipe for the game we saw, a close game. All right, so that's what you'd want if you're the halfway Crooks. So, I mean, what else happened? I mean, I think credit to Lob City for sure, picking up everything. Defensive intensity, offensive intensity, not making as many mistakes, not having as many turnovers, good shots, attacking the rim, playing smart. But, so, I mean, I might have just listed everything, but besides that, and then we'll kind of close on that, what shifted, in that fourth quarter?
I mean, Lob City's just one of those teams. Once they get a lead, it's hard for another team to take it back. They have the ability to slow the game down, and you can see that they all like communicate. They're like, let's slow it down. Let's slow it down. They'll be talking. They'll make sure that no one puts up like a transition 3 that'll be a 3-second possession. They want to have the ball for at least 20, 24, 25 seconds. Who knows? And they take advantage of that as they keep swinging the ball around, but they also make sure they did not have many turnovers in the fourth quarter, if any. I don't recall the exact number, but it didn't seem like they had any turnovers in the fourth quarter, which made them keep that lead for so long. So like once they get a lead, they're able to sustain it for so long. Like another team taking it back is very unlikely, and that's why they were undefeated this season.
Possibly 1 turnover. They are human, but yes, not many in the fourth. Like that is for sure. And it might have been just a play at the rim where they kind of just, lost control and it went out of bounds. So, not like a unforced turnover, that's for sure. That's a very good point. Their 8th championship in 9 seasons, and they are 8-0 in the finals, like we talked about during that post-game ceremony. Their 3rd undefeated season. 11-0. They went 12-0 in winter 2019, and they went 10-0 in the first season ever in Rhode Island in fall of 2017. All of these seasons where they won a title, a combined 8 losses in those 8 seasons. So that's actually almost a better stat than I had. I had 6 losses in the last 4 seasons, which is still, more recent, and more of the players on the team were a part of that. But even looking back, 8 losses over those 8 seasons when they won championships is something for sure, is a stat to be proud of. And their 4th straight title since we took that year off for COVID. So, 4-0 in the last 4. And yeah, Colin, has won 2 Finals MVPs. We talked about Joe Secatore winning Finals MVP, and I think all season he's had that impact, and it was fitting that he was the leader. Nuri again, and we were talking about it, and I hope you were over there. I'm not sure if you were. You might have been doing the interview, but we were like looking at the stats, and they were like, it maybe should be Nuri, and we just kind of decided on the spot every finals, and I was like, sure, watching the game, I get it. I think Secatore is the right Finals MVP, even if he didn't have as many of the assists and rebounds and blocks and steals, whatever. I mean, he was the leader, but again, that was a conversation that I maybe wasn't expecting to have. You expect kind of Colin Burns, Joe Secatore, like let's if they're going to win, those two would have to play well. And we talked about Colin only having 7 points on 5 field goal attempts, so it wasn't like he was definitely there. He made his presence known. Lob City, just to kind of keep going over some of the historical stuff before we move on. 69 wins in their franchise history, and they are 69-9. So I may not have been counting that first season, but when they were Lob City, they are 69-9, and that takes into account that season where they did not make the finals. So there you go on some of the losses math we were just going over. Yeah, I mean, one of those teams where, just to kind of look ahead a little bit, I mean, I've already heard that they'll be back for the summer, so that's great. They'll be back to defend their 8 crowns. I think even they would admit, and I would say this to anybody, I don't think this was their best Lob City team. I think that's not even controversial. They've had better teams. This may not have been a top 5 Lob City team over the 8 seasons, to be totally honest, and they still found a way to win and go undefeated, right? So, regardless of all of that, shout out to Lob City for continuing to get it done. You can say no, Wyatt. Anything else on Lob City? I mean, we already touched on it a lot this season, but anything else from your kind of first time seeing them?
I mean, I don't got much, but I talked to Nuri Mahmood after the game, and he did say that I asked him if he wants to go for a 9th one, and he said he does, and he said like he's looking forward to it. He said he's not sure about it, but I think they have a pretty good running in the next season too.
Yeah, they're running out. They're running out of fingers, right? I mean, they're almost at at 8. They gotta calm down a little bit with that. But that's a good season, a very competitive season, and Lob City had their games, and this was one of them where they were tested. That's definitely fair, and they answered. They passed the test once again. So Lob City, your winner 2024 champs in Rhode Island. Now let's take a look ahead to All-Star Night. We'll start with the dunk contest. That's not the dunk contest, people. Actually, we'll go in order of how things are going to be on Tuesday. So Tuesday, April 2nd, 3-point contest will be first at 8 o'clock. I'll list off your participants here in case you missed them. We just posted them online quickly. Charles Correa, Dylan Gallagher, Luis Ramirez, Joe Secatore, Justin Titsworth, Andrew Valley, Mark Washington, and Jared Hansen, your defending 2-time or 3-time defending champ in the 3-point contest. So of that list, Wyatt, who do you like? And I'll kind of give my pick in case anyone wasn't sure who I was going to pick. But who's your favorite in this one?
Got to go with Mark Washington from the Road Dogs, because when he heats up, he just continues to keep hitting threes. I feel like some of the other people like go on hot streaks, but Mark, I don't know. His hot streaks are different. He like continues to hit 3 after 3, and I feel like he's perfect for this kind of contest.
Yeah, and it is different than in-game shooting. And so, we have the ball racks, like you're not being passed the ball, you're picking it up next to you. So it does have that different, like the real 3-point contest type of feel to it. And it's so funny. I mean, Cody Crawford made, I can be accurate here, a good amount of threes, it felt like, in some big ones. He made two, but two big threes in the finals last night on Tuesday night. And he's been in the 3-point contest. He's not in it this year, but he's been in it. And he always struggles and just isn't, the shooting he does on the court doesn't necessarily translate to the 3-point contest for him. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? I've talked to him, the second and third time he's in the contest, and he's like, I've had enough. And he's like, it's different. It has a different feel and it is different, which is why I will take the Halfway Crooks. It's the only thing we got going, damn it. No other person in Rhode Island except a member of the Halfway Crooks has won the 3-point contest. Look it up. Yes, I've won one of them. And so it's going to continue. Jared Hansen, it's only right that I pick the champ to continue the domination in the 3-point contest. And I'll get it right. Give me 1 second. He's won 4, and we didn't do one in 2020 or 2021. And I have the summer 2019 title. So there you go. Can someone not on the Halfway Crooks actually win it in the state of Rhode Island? We'll find out. But we'll see. We'll see. But I will go Jared Hansen, and he will put on a show. That is for sure. So I'm excited for that one. But some really good shooters in that one. As we get over to the dunk contest, which will take place at 8:30, both contests and the All-Star game will be live on our YouTube channel, so you can watch them wherever you are. But our slam dunk contest will feature Charles Alexander, Charles Correa, Josh DePina, Eric Fowler, Joe Secator, and your defending champ, Terrence Gallo, who, let's just get it right off the bat. Give me 1 second. Terrence has won it 3 times, and the last 3 times, so the one before COVID and then the 2 we've done since 2020, Terrence Gallo has won the slam dunk contest. So Wyatt, are you picking Terrence Gallo or someone else to win it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Charles Alexander. He has some of the craziest dunks in game, but I mean Terrence Gallo, he's got that insane like vertical. He's not a big guy. He gets up there. He has those crazy posters. I think he was on the highlights at least 4 or 5 times this season. I mean, but Charles Alexander, he has crazy athletic hops and he does these crazy dunks in game. So when it's planned, I can't even imagine what dunks he could pull off.
Yeah, it's a show. It is definitely a show, Terrence Gallo, and Charles Alexander didn't do it last season, so I don't know if he's ever done it. So it might be his first time in it. I will take Joe Secator mainly because I know he feels robbed in some of his dunks over the summer, which I have posted since then. He went like under both legs, like Aaron Gordon, under both legs, dunked it. Yeah, yeah, I'm going Secator, especially because I'm sure he's still not actually upset, but wanted to win it in the summer and felt robbed. And so I am sure we'll be ready to go for this one to win it, or try to win it convincingly. But that'll be a good one as well. We got some really good dunkers in that one. And it just comes down to really, I mean, sure, the rim is lower, so everyone can dunk, right? But the creativity with that is the difference, right? Because you can't just go up there and dunk it, right? So like, what am I going to do? What can I use? Who am I going to jump over? I'm available. No one's done it yet. I get it. That's a site. Just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there. Then at 9 o'clock on Tuesday, we have our All-Star game. We did our All-Star draft. You can check that out on YouTube of who was drafted and some analysis there. So I'm not really well. I'll rip through the teams really quick, but I'm going to give you a last name. So Team Secator, obviously Joe Secator, and then Colin Burns. I'm doing full names. Colin Burns, Ethan Austin, Mark Washington, Luis Ramirez, Tommy McSparren, and Josh DePina. Team Whitman, Captain Brandon Whitman, Charles Alexander, Justin Titsworth, Rion Watts, Nicholas Montanino, Eric Fowler, and Charles Correa. So Wyatt, obviously a player to watch is kind of easy, but who's your All-Star Game MVP? Which player, and we've talked about this, all these players are good players, right? They all can put up points. It's almost like who's going to go for MVP, who's going to try, to go for MVP and like play the entire time and put in that effort to try to win it, because they all can score. They all can be an All-Star Game MVP, but who do you think is going to go for it and win it?
I'm gonna go with Charles Correa. I feel like if he continues the hot shooting from the finals, easily win it. I mean, he was hitting some crazy shots. So it's not only like the stat sheet, but it was like shock value. So if he brings that to the All-Star game, I think he could definitely win it. And he's got good passing. He's got those flashy passes too. Everything about him is like perfect for an All-Star game, and I think he could bring home the MVP.
I like it. Just another member of the halfway crooks. Let's see if we can make it a three-peat, right? We can't win the damn title. We take home 3-point, maybe get a dunk contest. I don't know. I think that's the hardest one. And then All-Star Game MVP, who knows? But I like the pick. Yeah, Charles Correa was hitting for sure in the finals. And he needed it. The halfway crooks needed it in the finals. Anything else? I think it's a wrap. I think we crushed it. All-Star Night, Tuesday, April 2nd. Everything. 3-point contest at 8 o'clock. Slam dunk contest at 8:30. And our winner 2024 All-Star Game at 9 o'clock, all live on YouTube, so you can check it out and watch everything live, or come out to Longplex in Tiverton and watch it in person. It's a good show. It's a good 2 hours. It's a fun time, and everybody has a good time, which is the best part. All the, stuff between, like Road Dogs and Lob City, just wanting both to win, between the Crooks and Lob City playing 3 times, and not that anybody ever, took it too far, but just all of the competitiveness goes away for a night, which is nice. And it's a lot of fun. So Wyatt, your first All-Star night, get ready for that. Good job breaking down the finals, and we'll see everybody Tuesday in Tiverton for All-Star night. And then we'll be getting ready for the summer, which I am excited for as a member of the Halfway Crooks. But get ready for the summer, but we're not done yet. Shout out Lob City, your champs, and we'll see everybody at All-Star night.